Pleasant day, everyone. I am Hiria Adam, and today I will be discussing the chapter 12 of our textbook, which is the managing and reducing business risks. So, first, we have the understanding the nature of risk. We have three main points here. So, first, entrepreneurs need willingness and readiness to take risks. So, of course, they must be mentally and emotionally prepared to handle uncertainties. Risk taking is essential for innovation and growth, and being hesitant can sometimes limit this progress. So risk is also viewed differently across cultures. So in Europe, businesses traditionally focus on avoiding or hedging risk. In contrast, American businesses often embrace risk as part of their progress and more open to managing them head on. So risk is also seen as an opportunity in Anglo-American business culture. So instead of seeing risk as something purely negative, many American firms view it as a chance to gain competitive advantage or achieve major goals. Next, we also have the managing risk in decision making. So decisions should be measured, understood, and risk eliminated when possible. So good decision makers don't act impulsively. They carefully assess risk, try to understand consequences, and take steps to remove unnecessary threats. So managing risk goes beyond financial concern. So risk isn't just all about money. It can affect operations, reputations, people, and long-term strategy. So broader impacts should be considered. So acceptance of the risk is the starting point. So recognizing that risk will always exist helps organizations prepare effectively. It's the foundation of creating good risk management system. Next, identify and prioritize risks. So risk identification is crucial for informed decisions. You can't manage what you don't know. So identifying risk early helps leaders make smarter choices and plan proactively. So avoid surprises by recognizing internal and external threats. So risks come from inside, from staff and system, and outside from market trends and competitors. So knowing these helps prevent unexpected setbacks. So an examples of this are customer loss, supplier failure, new competitors. So common serious risks include losing important clients, not getting supplies, or suddenly facing strong competition. So these can disrupt operation if not anticipated. So of course, there are human factors in risk. So it says here that people behave differently under risk. So some people are risk takers and others are risk averse. So these differences affect how risks are perceived and handled in organizations. So overconfidence or fear can skew judgment. So being too sure of success or too scared of failure can lead to bad decisions. Emotional responses can cloud logic. So using of structured analysis to categorize risk. So organizing risk into categories help manage them better. It ensures nothing is overlooked and resources are focused effectively. Now you can see we have here the common organizational risks, table 12.1. So there are 5 risk categories: financial, commercial, strategic, technical, and operational. So risk type varied based on business functions. Grouping them helps business develop specialized strategies. So each has specific examples like fraud, equipment failure, legal non-compliance. So for financial, we have fraud, poor cash management; commercial, legal issues and brand damage; for strategic, we have poor market entry decisions; for technical, we have equipment failures and accidents; and for operational, we have product defects and staff issues. Next, we have the acceptable level of risks. So here we have steps to make. So first step, determine the nature and extent of acceptable risks. So every business must decide what level of risk it's comfortable with. So this varies based on the industry, goals, and resources. So understand potential impact and likelihood. So risk analysis involve asking how likely is this risk, and if it happens, how bad would it be? So third is take steps to minimize incidents and effects. So once risks are understood, the next step is to reduce their chance of happening or lessen their impact. Moving forward, we have the opportunity cost of risk avoidance. So avoiding risk might mean missing big opportunities. So being overly cautious can stop you from taking advantage of the profitable ventures. So sometimes greatest risk may be doing nothing. So inactions can be dangerous. If a business avoids all risks, it may stagnate or fall behind competitors who are more daring. So balancing is the key in decision making. So smart risk management is about finding the middle ground, taking calculated risks, not reckless ones, but also not being too conservative. So to sum up my part in this discussion, risk is an unavoidable part of business. What matters is how we handle it. By understanding, planning, and taking informed decisions, we can turn risk into opportunities.
I'll be discussing a crucial aspect of a business and a project management, understanding how risks become reality. We often identify risk, but understanding why and how they manifest is what allows us to effectively mitigate them. We will focus on 5 key catalysts that frequently trigger this risk, so let's examine each one. First, we have technology. New hardware, software, or even just increased demand on existing systems can introduce unforeseen risk. The implementation of new technology, while often beneficial, introduces a degree of uncertainty. Consider the example of a new traffic management system. While successful, its reliance on untested technology initially posed a considerable risk to the entire project. So this highlights that even a positive technological advancement can create new, often unpredictable risks. Next is the organizational change, restructuring, new strategies, mergers, acquisitions. These all represents a significant change. Such changes often disrupt workflows and establish processes, leading to unforeseen problems. The uncertainty inherent in organizational shifts often leads to increased risk. Let's move on to processes. New products, expanding into new markets or company acquisitions, or require adjustments to existing processes. So these adaptation or changes, while essential, can be significant risk of disruption and inefficiency if not carefully managed. The example of New Coke perfectly illustrates this. The failure to adequately assess the risk associated with changing a much-loved product serves as a cautionary tale of potential consequences. Human factors represent another significant catalyst. People, hiring, losing key employees, poor management, or even a simple human error, these all contribute to risk. It's not always about grand schemes. Everyday human behavior can trigger significant problems. Weaknesses in human resources management lead to increased risk exposure. Finally, we have external factors. This encompasses events entirely outside of an organization's control. Regulatory shifts, economic downturns, political instability, natural disasters. This all highlights a company's vulnerability to force beyond its direct influence. Consider the SARS epidemic. Such unforeseen events can disrupt operation and highlights the importance of contingency planning. In conclusion, understanding the why and how of risk is just as critical as identifying the risks themselves. By recognizing the 5 key areas we have discussed, the technology, organizational change, processes, people, and the external factors, we can better assess, prepare for, and mitigate potential risk, ultimately enhancing the success and resilience of our projects and organizations. Thank you.
Good morning everyone, I'm Naufil Sulaiman and now we will be moving on to applying a simple risk management process. A simple risk management process involves three main stages: identifying, assessing, and controlling risk. First is identifying risk, means recognizing potential problems that could impact a task, project, or organization. such as safety issues, financial losses, or system failures. This step is important because it allows you to prepare for possible challenges before they occur. Next stage is assessing risks, where each identified risk is analyzed in terms of how likely it is to happen and how severe the consequences could be. This helps prioritize which risks need the most attention, so time and resources are focused where they matter most. Finally, the third and final stage, controlling risk, involves taking action to eliminate or reduce the risk. This might include safety measures, staff training, or backup plans. The goal is to minimize the negative impacts, improve outcomes, and ensure a safer and more efficient operation. Now we move on to risk assessment and analysis. Risk assessment and analysis is the process of evaluating potential risks to determine how likely they are to happen and how serious their impact could be. It helps prioritize which risks need immediate attention and which can be monitored over time. This step is essential for making informed decisions about how to manage or reduce those risks. To give you an example, in a construction project, assessing the risk of working at height might reveal a high chance of injury if proper safety equipment isn't used, prompting the implementation of harnesses and safety training. Risk assessment ensures that serious hazards are identified and addressed early, helping prevent accidents, reduce costs, and protecting people and the resources. Next is risk management and control. Risk management and control involves taking action to reduce or eliminate risk after they've been identified and assessed. This can include avoiding the risk, reducing its likelihood, minimizing its impact, transferring its responsibility like through insurance, or accepting it if it is low level. Controls may include safety procedures, training, protective equipment, or emergency plans. To give you an example, in a chemical plant, risks from toxic substances are controlled through protective gear, proper storage, ventilation, and staff training. Risk management and control helps prevent harm, ensures legal compliance, and protects people, assets, and operation from potential damage. Next is avoiding and mitigating risks. Avoiding and mitigating risks are two key strategies used in risk management to handle potential threats. Avoiding a risk means changing or eliminating a certain activities to completely prevent the risk from occurring. Mitigating a risk, on the other hand, involves taking steps to reduce either the likelihood of the risk of happening or the severity of its impact if it does. To give you an example, a company organizing an outdoor event might avoid the risk of bad weather by booking an indoor venue instead. If the outdoor setting is necessary, they could mitigate the risk by setting up weatherproof tents and having a backup plan in case of rain. These strategies help minimize this disruption and potential harm. Avoidance removes the threat entirely, while mitigation ensures that if the risk does occur, its negative effects are controlled or reduced, keeping people, plants, and resources safer.
Create a positive climate for managing risk. So, number one is recognizing the need to manage risk is not enough. So, this means that awareness alone doesn't ensure action, and this is not enough. So, organization must implement strategy and take proactive steps. So, number two is organizations should recognize and reward behavior that manage risk. So, positive reinforcement encourage employees to be proactive in risk management. So, number three is requires commitment from senior managers and resources, including training. So, this means that leadership must actively support risk management by providing time, budget, and training. Next, number 4, uh, control should not be seen only as overhead but as value adding. So this means that risk control aren't just cost, they protect assets and enable efficient operation. Number 5, uh, effective use of asset, avoidance of waste, and success in decision are outcomes. So this means that good risk management to smarter decision, better use of resources, and reduced waste. So next is overcoming the fear of risk. Number 1 is taking risk is essential to remain competitive. So it means that without taking risk, companies may fall behind their competitors who are innovating. So number 2, risk is both desirable and necessary, uh, which means risk is a part of progress. It drives change and improvement. So number 3, employees may understand share responsibility for risk. So everyone in the organization should be involved in managing and taking a smart risk, not just leader. So next, number 4 is view risk as an opportunity, not as threat. So shifting perspective helps unlock innovation and courage to try new things. So number 5 is stop treating risk as bureaucratic and stifling. So number 6, uh, risk provides learning, development, and improvement, which means even when risks fail, they offer a valuable lesson for everyone. So next is controlling and monitoring enterprise-wide risk. So the following question, when answered truthfully and positively, will assess manager in decision how to manage the risk and confront the business enterprise. So number 1, where are the greatest areas of risk relating to the most significant strategic decision? So how it helps is it enables managers to prioritize attention and resources where risk is highest, such as expansion, acquisition, and partnership. So number 2, what level of risk is acceptable for company to bear? So answering this will help guides managers in making this balanced decision. So number 3, what are potentially disclosing events that could inflict greatest damage on your organization? So answering this question will help encourage proactive planning uh, for reputation and legal risks like data breaches or public scandals. So next is what are the risks inherent in organization strategic decision and what is the ability to reduce their impact? So answering this will help forces managers to consider downside scenarios and create mitigation strategies. So next, what is the overall level of exposure to risk? Has this been assessed and is it actively monitored? So answering this will provide a holistic risk review, so managers can allocate resources effectively and update controls. So next, what are the cost benefits of operating risk management control? So answering this will help in justifying investment in risk mitigation by showing value added versus the cost. Next is what review procedures are in place to monitor risk. So It will help to promote a continuous feedback for risk oversight. So next is, are risk in strategic decision adequately understood? So answering this will help ensure comprehensive planning by confronting that risks are factor in decision making process. So next, uh, at what level in the organization are risks understood and actively managed? So answering this will help shows whether the risk ownership is widespread and if the staff or employees are trained and prepared. So next, to what extent would the company be exposed if staff left? So answering this will helps alert managers to talent dependencies and the need for succession plans. So next is, if there have been major development, are there new responsibility to be accepted? So answering this will check whether change management is successful and avoid confusion in new setups. So next is, our management information system keeping pace with demand? So answering this will help reveals if the IT systems are lagging behind or causing risk blind spots. Then the last is, do employees sense risk or are they encouraged to view uh, risk as an opportunity? So answering this is, will assess the organizational mindset towards risk and guiding leadership and culture development. So, uh, what benefit this is? It foster innovation while maintaining the awareness of risk.
Good day, let's proceed with the next slide, which talks about practical considerations in managing and reducing financial risk. It says here that finance is the lifeblood of a business, heavily influencing strategies and decision at every level. Many managers find it difficult to get grips with financial issues, and as the 2008 global financial crisis revealed, many lost touch with the basic financial ground rules. And since it says finance is the lifeblood, we can also consider it like a business need finance to survive, just like a car that needs gasoline to run. Or let's say, just like your body needs blood to function, a business needs finance to operate and make decisions. So the next slide says here, profitability, cash flow, long-term shareholder value, and risk all need to be considered when setting and reviewing strategy. This section provides practical guidance about financial decisions and explains how to 1. Improve profitability, 2. Avoid pitfalls in making financial decisions, and 3. Reduce financial risk. So let's tackle the first one, improve profitability. It says, entrepreneurial flair and financial rigor as much about attitude as skills. Nonetheless, certain skills will ensure that decisions are focused on commercial success. It says here that being a successful entrepreneur requires both creativity and financial knowledge to make smart decisions. So let's give an example, like you might have a cool idea for a t-shirt business, but you also need to know how to price shirt and manage money to actually make it work. So let's go with the letter A, which is variance analysis. It says, interpreting the differences between actual and planned performance is crucial. Variance analysis is used to monitor and manage the result of past decisions, assess the current situation, and highlight solutions. I'd say common causes of variance include inefficiency, poor or flawed planning, for example, relying on historical inaccurate information, poor communication, interdependence between departments, and random factors. Every business should use variance analysis, but in practical and programmatic and cost effectively. So let's give an example like variance analysis is like checking your grades. You compare your actual scores to your expected scores to see where you need to improve. That's the variance analysis. Let's proceed with letter B, assessment of market entry and exit barriers. How easy or difficult it is to either enter or leave a market is crucial in strategic decision making. Entry barriers include the need to compete with businesses that enjoy economies of scale or establish differentiated products. Other barriers include capital requirements, access to distribution channels, factors independent of scale such as technology or location, and regulatory requirements. When markets are difficult or costly for competitors to enter and relatively easy and affordable to live, firms can achieve high, stable returns while still being able to leave for other opportunities. Considering where the barriers to enter lie for your market sector, how vulnerable you are to new entrants, and whether you can strengthen and entrench your market position. So to easily understand it, let's say we are entering a new market, and that can be tough if there are big competitors or high barriers to enter because market entry barriers affect strategy. Let's say, or for example, starting a new soft drink company is super hard because big brands already have fans, big factories, and cheaper prices. Let's proceed with letter C, the break-even analysis. The break-even point is when sales cover costs where neither a profit nor a loss is made. It is calculated by dividing the cost of the projected by the gross profit at specific dates, making sure to allow for overhead costs. Break-even analysis or cost volume profit or CVP analysis is used to decide whether to continue developing a product, alter the price, provide or adjust a discount, or change suppliers to reduce costs. It is also helps in managing the sales mix, cost structure, and production capacity, as well as in forecasting and budgeting. So, to make the break-even easier to understand, the break-even point is when your sales equal your costs and you're not making any profit or any loss. Okay, so let's proceed with the next slide, which is that letter D, controlling costs. So, to the controlling costs, there are 6 items. First is focus on the big items of expenditure. It is a categories cost into major or peripheral items. Often undue emphasis is given to the 80% of activities accounting for 20% of cost. To give an example, it says like focus on big costs, not small ones. An example is this is like you might worry about saving a few peso on snacks, but forget you're spending most of your allowance on mobile data. So that's what it means when it says focus on the bigger costs. The second one, be cost aware. Casualness is the enemy of cost control. While focusing on the major items of expenditure, it may also be possible to cut the cost of peripheral items. Costs can be reduced over the medium to long term by managers' attitudes to cost control on the effects of expenses on cash flow. Let's give an example on that one because cost control is about attitude. For example, if you're always buying stuff without thinking, your allowance disappears fast. But being careful even with small expenses help you save in the long run. Let's proceed with the third one here, which is maintain a balance between cost and quality. Getting the best value means achieving a balance between the price paid and the quality received. So, for example, on that one, because best value is equals to good price and good quality. Getting good value means finding a balance between price and quality. An example of this one is buy a cheap charger that breaks in a week isn't worth it. Better to buy one that costs a bit more but lasts longer. Let's proceed with the fourth one here, which is use budgets for dynamic financial management. Budget early so financial requirements are known as soon as possible. Consider the best time period for the budget, normally a year, but it depends on the type of business. Some larger firms have moved to rolling budgets, getting managers to forecast the next 18 months every quarter. Budget provides a starting point for cash flow forecasts and revenues, and they also play an essential role in monitoring costs and revenues. To easily understand that, it says here, creating a budget helps you plan and manage your finances effectively because budgeting is like planning a party. You need to know how much you can spend before you start inviting guests. Get it right or you'll be in trouble or you'll be in for a world of trouble. Okay, let's proceed with the fifth one here. It says develop a positive attitude to budgeting. People need to understand, accept, and use the budget, feeling a sense of ownership and responsibility for developing, monitoring, and controlling it. To easily understand it, it says here everyone involved in a business needs to understand and be responsible for the budget. So let's proceed with the last one here. It says eliminate waste, which it says here for decades, leading Japanese companies have directed much of their cost management efforts towards waste elimination. They achieve this by using techniques such as process analysis, mapping, and re-engineering. For example, Japanese companies cut waste smartly because some Japanese companies become successful by always checking how to save time, material, and effort in every step of their work. So that's the topic for improving profitability. Let's move on with the next one for the next slide. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I am Quincy Vestroninos and today I will be discussing the practical techniques to improve profitability. The first one is focused decision making on the most profitable areas. Concentrating on products and services with the best margin will protect or enhance profitability. This might involve redirecting sales and advertising activities. To explain this further, this technique emphasizes identifying where you make the most money and channeling your efforts there. It's about working smarter, not just harder. You want to invest your time, resources, and marketing budget into what brings you the highest returns. For example, imagine you are running a small business here in Cotabato City which sells various breads, pastries, and cakes. After analyzing your sales data, you discovered one of your products, for example, a durian cheesecake. Your durian cheesecake has a significantly higher profit margin than your plain products like pandesal, despite selling fewer units. You can follow some techniques you might decide, but like feature the durian cheesecake more prominently in your display, run a promotion specifically for the cheesecake, and train your staff to actively recommend it to customers, or reduce the production of pandesal if it's not contributing significantly to your overall profit. Second is decide how to treat the least profitable products. This often drift with dwindling profitability. Turn around a poor performer or abandon it to prevent drain on resources and reputation. For example, by reducing cost, raising prices, altering discounts, or changing the product. The shelf life and appeal of the product must be considered when deciding to continue it or discontinue it. To further explain this, just as you focus on the winners or the highest selling products, you need to address the underperformers. These products or services can be a drain on your resources, like the time, the money, and the storage, and etc. You have a fewer options. Try to make them profitable again, or cut your losses and stop offering them. For example, let's say the durian cheesecake. The durian cheesecake, which have very low sales and a thin profit margin due to the cost of ingredients and the time it takes to make it or to make them. You could consider reducing the cost by finding a cheaper supplier for durian or streamlining the production process. And maybe you can also raise prices by carefully considering it if your local market will bear a slightly higher price, or altering the product by adding a unique flavor or presentation to make it more appealing. And lastly, maybe you can just discontinue it. If none of the above work and it continues to underperform, you might decide to stop selling the durian cheesecake to free up your oven space and focus on more profitable items. Next, the third is make sure new products enhance overall profitability. New product development often focuses on market need or the production process with insufficient regard to cost, price, sales volumes, and overall profitability, which are inextricably linked. When introducing something new, crucial to think about how it will impact your overall profitability before you invest heavily. Don't just focus on whether people will buy it. Consider if you can produce it efficiently and sell it at a price that gives you a good return. For example, you're thinking of adding a new type of bread, which is malunggay loaf to your bakery. Before launching it, you should first calculate the cost of ingredients and labor, research what similar breads sells for here in Cotabato. Estimate the potential sales volume and determine if the malunggay loaf will have a healthy profit margin and contribute positively to your overall business profitability. If the costs are too high or the potential selling price is too low, it might not be a profitable addition, even if there's local interest in the malunggay loaf. The fourth one is manage development and product decisions. The amount spent on research as well as the priorities and method used affect profitability. Too little expenditure may increase cost in the long term. To further discuss this, smart spending on research and development and different production methods are key to profitability. While cutting costs in these areas might seem appealing in the short term, it can lead to problems down the line, like outdated products, inefficient processes, quality issues, higher long-term costs. For example, for your bakery, you should do a development by investing in research, new popular flavors, combinations, or healthier baking techniques that could lead to innovative and profitable new products. Skimping on this research might mean you miss out on market trends. Next is the production. Maybe by investing in a more efficient oven or a better mixing machine, might have an upfront costs but could significantly reduce your electricity bills and labor time in the long run, thus increasing profitability. Neglecting equipment maintenance could lead to breakdowns and costly repairs. The fifth one is set the buying policy. To explain this, how you source your supplies and manage your inventory has a direct impact on your cost and efficiency. A well-defined buying policy can help you get the best prices ensure quality, and minimize waste. For example, should there be a small number of preferred suppliers or a binding system among a wider number of potential suppliers? Also, considering techniques for controlling delivery numbers, monitoring exchange rates, improving quality control, reducing inventory, and improving production lead times. For your bakery, setting a buying policy might involve preferred suppliers by establishing long-term relationships with a few reliable suppliers for your flour, sugar, and other staples to potentially negotiate better prices and ensure consistently quality. Also, by the binding system, by occasionally getting quotes from multiple suppliers to ensure you're getting competitive prices, especially for larger orders. And also the inventory control. By implementing this, a system to track your ingredients to avoid spoilage and to reduce waste. For example, knowing how much flour you typically use in a week helps you avoid overstocking. And lastly, maybe you should do the quality control. Having a process to check the quality of incoming ingredients to prevent using substandard materials that could affect your final products and reputation. The sixth one is consider how to create greater value from existing customers and products to enhance profitability. It's often more cost effective to sell more to your existing customers than to constantly acquire new ones. By understanding their needs and finding ways to offer them more value, you can increase their loyalty and spending. So, actually this is a question. How can customer loyalty be enhanced? For example, implementing a loyalty program where customers earn points for every purchase and can redeem them for discounts or free items. Offering personalized promotions based on past purchases, creating a welcoming and friendly atmosphere in your shops. There are some questions also that how can this sales proposition be made more competitive relative to the opposition? By offering a unique and high quality products that your competitors don't have, like your durian cheesecakes or the malunggay loaf. By providing excellent customer service, offering convenient ordering options like online orders with local delivery here in Cotabato City, and creating attractive packaging and bundles. You can also answer the question, how can existing markets, sales channels, products, brand reputation, and other resources be adapted to exploit new markets and new opportunities? If you primarily sell directly from your shop, you could explore supplying your breads to local restaurants or cafes. You could also leverage social media to reach the wider audience here in Cotabato and potentially offer delivery to the new neighborhoods. If your durian cheesecake or the malunggay loaf is a hit, could you create other local fruit flavored cheesecake? Let's also answer the question, how can sales expenses be reduced? By optimizing your delivery routes to save on fuel costs, training your sales staff to be more efficient, utilizing cost-effectivity marketing methods like local social media campaigns or community events instead of expensive traditional advertising. How can effectiveness of marketing activities be increased? By running targeted promotions based on local holidays or events here in Cotabato City, collecting customer feedback to tailor your marketing messages, using visually appealing photos of your products on social media, also partnering with other local businesses for cross-promotion. The last one is consider how to increase profitability by managing people. Successful leadership is prerequisite for profitability. People need to be motivated and supported, and this implies rewarding them fairly for their work, training and developing them, providing clear sense of direction, and focusing on the needs of the team, the task, and the individual. To explain this further, this point emphasizes that your employees are not just cogs in a machine. They are a vital asset that can significantly impact your profitability. Effective leadership and good people management create a positive and productive work environment. When people are motivated, feel valued, and are equipped with the right skills and directions, they are more likely to perform well, leading to higher quality work, increased efficiency, and ultimately greater profitability. Ignoring your team's needs and development can lead to low morale, high turnover, and decreased productivity, all of which negatively affect your bottom line. For example, rewarding them fairly for their work. For your bakery, this could mean ensuring your bakers, sales staffs, and delivery drivers receive competitive wages based on the local market rates here in Cotabato City. It could also involve offering benefits like paid time off or allowances, which can particularly valued. Recognizing and rewarding good performances with bonuses or small incentives can also boost motivations. For instance, you could offer a bonus to the sales staff member who achieves the highest sales for the week. Next is training and developing them. Investing in training for your staff can improve their skills and productivity. For your bakery, this might include training new bakers on specific techniques for making popular local delicacies like pastil, or improving the customer service skills of your sales team so they can be better engaged with the local community. You could also provide opportunities for experienced staff to learn new skills like cake decorating or managing inventory, which can increase their value to the business. Next is providing sense of direction. Ensure your team understands the goals of your business and their role in achieving them. Clearly communicate daily tasks, expected quality standards, and any changes in procedures. For example, if you're launching a new product like a special Ramadan treat, make sure all staff members understand the product, its ingredients, pricing, and how to promote it to customers. Lastly, focusing on the needs of the team, the task, and the individual. This involves understanding the different employees have different needs and motivations. The team needs foster a collaborative and supportive environment, encourage teamwork in the bakery to ensure efficient production, especially during busy periods. While the task needs, you should ensure employees have the resources and tools they need to perform their job effectively. For example, providing bakers with well-maintained equipment and ensuring sales staff have adequate supplies and information. Individual needs: recognize and address individual strengths and weaknesses. Offer opportunities for growth based on individual interests and skills. For instance, if a staff member shows a particular flair for customers' interaction, you might provide them with more customer-facing responsibility. Be mindful of cultural nuances and local customs in Cotabato to create a respectful and inclusive workplace. The next topic is avoiding pitfalls. Many managers have financial responsibilities, and their decisions will be often influenced by or have an impact on other parts of the business. The following principles will help avoid flawed financial decision making. The first principle is the financial expertise must be widely available. Every manager needs to understand why successful financial management increases profits. People need to own their part of the financial control process to have the information and expertise needed to routinely make the best financial decision. This principle underscores the importance of financial literacy across all levels of management, not just within the financial department. When managers in different areas like sales, operations, or marketing understand the financial implications of their decisions, they can contribute more effectively to the overall profitability of the business. This doesn't mean everyone needs to be a financial expert, but a basic understanding of key financial concepts and how their actions impact the bottom line is crucial. Access to financial information and expertise should be readily available to support informed decision making at all levels. For example, imagine I have a retail store selling locally sourced handicrafts and garments here in Cotabato. So the sales manager, they should understand how discounts and promotions affect profit margins, not just the sales volume. They can analyze sales data to identify the most profitable products and customer segments and tailor strategies accordingly. They might realize that offering a small discount on bulk purchases of null fabric to regular customers yields better overall profits than a large discount on a single item purchases. The production manager should understand the cost of raw materials and labor and seeks ways to improve efficiency without compromising quality. They might compare different suppliers to brasswares to find the best balance of the price and quality, directly impacting the cost of goods sold and ultimately the profit margin. While the general manager, he or she ensures that the financial reports are regularly shared and explained to all department heads. They might organize workshops or training sessions on basic financial management for non-finance managers, empowering them to make more financially sound decisions in their respective areas. Consider the impact of financial decisions. Do not ignore or underestimate the wider impact of finance issues upon other departments and decisions. Financial decisions rarely exist in a vacuum. They often have ripple effects across different departments and operational aspects of the business. Failing to consider this interconnectedness can lead to unintended negative consequences. A decision that looks good financially in isolation might create problems in other areas, ultimately harming overall profitability. So for example, let's say I have a restaurant and I decided to cut cost by switching to a cheaper supplier for its local rice. The short-term financial gain is lower food cost might initially seem to improve profitability, while the wider impact, if the cheaper rice is of lower quality, it could lead to customer dissatisfaction and negative reviews, impacting the restaurant's reputation and potentially leading to a decline in sales. This negative impact on the sales department outweighs the initial cost of savings. For another example, deciding to delay payments to local suppliers to improve short-term cash flow could damage the relationship with these suppliers, potentially leading to high prices or delay in the future, affecting the operations and procurement departments. The third avoiding pitfalls is avoid weak budgetary control. Budgets are an active tool to help make financial decisions, not merely a way to measure performances. A budget should be a dynamic tool that guides financial decision making throughout the year. It's not just about comparing actual results to plan figures at the end of the period. A strong budgetary control system involves regularly monitoring performance against the budget, analyzing variances, and taking corrective actions when necessary. It helps in allocating resources effectively, controlling expenses, and anticipating potential financial challenges or opportunities. For example, consider a small transportation business here in Cotabato with a fleet of jeepneys. The weak budgetary control is simply tracking fuel expenses at the end of the month without analyzing why there might be significant deviation from the budget amount. The strong budgetary control here is the regularly monitoring fuel consumption per vehicle and per route. If there's a significant increase, investigating the reason, like raising the fuel prices, inefficient driving habits, need for vehicle maintenance, is based on this analysis, the manager might decide to implement fuel-saving training for drivers or schedule vehicle maintenance to improve efficiency. Proactively controlling costs rather than just passively measuring them. The fourth avoiding pitfalls is understand the impact of cash flow. Non-financial managers often ignore cash flows and the time value of money. Everyone should be aware of the importance of the cash to the organization. Cash flow, the movement of money into and out of your business. It is the lifeblood of any organization. Profitability on paper doesn't mean you have cash in hand to pay your bills or invest in growth. Understanding the timing of cash inflows and outflows is crucial. The time value of money concept recognizes that money received today is worth more than the same amount received in the future due to its potential earning capacity. Non-financial managers need to appreciate how their decisions impact the company's cash positions and long-term value of money. For example, I have a construction material supplier here in Cotabato. If I ignore the cash flow, focusing solely on the number of the sales made without consideration when payments will be received from customers, they might have high sales figures but struggle to pay their own suppliers on time due to delayed customer payments. While if I understand the cash flow, I will offer a small discount for early payments to encourage quicker cash inflow, negotiating longer payment terms with their own suppliers to manage cash outflows. They might also analyze the profitability of projects based on the expected payment schedules, prioritizing projects with faster and more reliable payment terms to ensure healthy cash flows. The fifth one and the last one in avoiding pitfalls is know where the risk lies. Identifying risk and how to reduce them is crucial to successful financial decision making. For example, managers need to know not only where the break-even point is, but also how and when it will be reached. Every business faces various financial risks, from market fluctuations and competition to operational challenges and economic downturns. Identifying these potential risks and understanding their impacts is essential for making informed financial decisions. Developing strategies to mitigate this risk can protect the business profitability and sustainability. Knowing your break-even point, is a fundamental aspect of risk assessment, like the level of sales needed to cover all the costs. Understanding the factors that could affect your ability to reach it is equally important, like a sudden increase in the price of raw materials or a decrease in local demand. For example, a tourism-related business here in Cotabato, like a local tour operator, in identifying the risk, recognizing potential risk such as political instability in the region affecting tourist arrivals, seasonal fluctuations in tourism, increased competition from new operators, or unexpected increase in transportation costs. The risk reduction is diversifying their tour offerings to appeal a wider range of tourists, like cultural tourists, eco adventures, etc., and developing contingency plans for potential disruptions. Monitoring local news and political developments to anticipate political impacts, understanding their break-even point for different tour packages, and analyzing the sensitivity of this point to change in fuel prices or booking rates allows them to make informed decisions about pricing and marketing strategies to ensure profitability even under challenging circumstances. The last topic is reduce financial risk. Positive replies to the following questions would assist top management to manage financial risks. The first question is, are the most effective and relevant performance measures in place to monitor and assess the effectiveness of financial decisions? So this question emphasizes the importance of having the right metrics to track how well your financial decisions are paying off. These measures should be relevant to your specific business goals and provide meaningful insights into your financial health. Without effective monitoring, you can truly know if your strategies are working or if adjustments are needed. The next question is, have you analyzed key business ratios recently? How useful are your performance indicators? What are the main issues? Are you measuring the right things? So to understand this question, business ratio is derived from your financial statements. Business ratio provide a deeper understanding of your company's performance and financial position. Regularly analyzing these ratios can highlight strengths, weaknesses, and potential risks. It's crucial to ensure that the ratios you're tracking are relevant to your industry and business model and that you understand what they signify. The third question is there a positive attitude to budget and budgeting? A budget should be seen as a valuable tool for planning, controlling, and improving financial performance, not just a restrictive exercise. A positive attitude towards budgeting encourages participation from different departments, leading to more realistic and achievable financial goals. The fourth question is, does decision-making focus on the most profitable products and services, or is it preoccupied with peripheral issues? This question highlights the importance of prioritizing efforts and resources on what generates the most profit for your business. Getting bogged down in less profitable areas can distract from your core strength and hinder overall profitability. What are the least profitable parts of the organizations? How will they be improved? Identifying the underperforming areas of your business is crucial for improving overall profitability. Once these areas are identified, a plan needs to be put in place to either turn them around, reduce their negative impact, or potentially discontinue them if they are consistently draining resources. The sixth question is, are market and customer decisions focused on improving profitability? Too often attention is given to non-financial objectives such as increasing market share without adequately considering the financial risk and alternatives. While objectives like increasing market share or improving brand awareness are important, they should ultimately contribute to long-term profitability. Decisions made solely to gain market shares without considering the cost and potential impact on profitability can financially risky. The last question is, how efficiently is cash managed? Do your strategic business decisions take account of cash considerations, such as the time value of money? Well, effective cash management is vital for the survival and growth of any businesses. This involves optimizing cash inflows, controlling cash outflows, and making strategic decisions that consider the timing of cash flows and the principle that money received sooner is generally more valuable than the same amount received later.